We had Magic on the show at the end of December, and your name came up, and Magic was talking about what you and him went through and how you guys were able to sit down and patch it up.
Which is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Everyone was big fans of that. But he also said he would like to see you and Mike patch it up. You called me after that, and we had a conversation on the phone about what was going. Do you care to share any of that?
Yeah, hey man, I just want some people to be honest.
Yeah.
I got no problem sitting down talking with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and as you can see, I'm
Your open book.
I live with love, peace, truth, honesty, courage. I stand on my square. I'm upright, I'm independent. And I sit in any chair and I talk to anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some people they ain't been telling the truth, right? Now, anywhere, anytime, publicly. Don't call me behind the scenes apologizing or asking your friends to apologize, right? You got on national television and you called me an asshole. And then you said you hated me. You said that on national television. Now, if you didn't mean it, get on national television
You say that.
and apologize for it. Now, if you meant it, let it ride as it is. But, so I called you, and that same day, you know who I called? I called Magic Johnson. Magic was on a plane. They was shooting a commercial in Atlanta. Him, Sam Jackson, everybody else. We were standing in the Four Seasons Hotel. We missed each other, right? Because he said he had to go, so he on the plane, right? I call him up. Magic didn't mention Michael Jordan. All right. So I'm still waiting. Everybody say this stuff publicly, right? Hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do. All right, well, I'm the type of guy, I sit here, I talk to you, I talk to you. It ain't a person in this United States of America that I'm not willing to sit down and have a conversation with and break bread with. But if you lying and throwing stones from behind the scenes, okay, that's you. But if you honest and you upright on your square, I'm willing to deal with you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where do we go from here?
I mean, you told me something interesting. I mean, you had family that had stayed with him at one point.
Absolutely. Hey, when Jordan first came to Chicago, first of all, we were fans of his. And to some extent, still fans of his. My family, his family, not only did they socialize, hang out, but as I said, I had a little nephew that lived with him. And everybody's still cool, right? Ain't no hate for Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
We just want some realness,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just, like I say, you got on national television. And ain't nobody nowhere has ever got on national television and called me an asshole and then publicly said you hate me. I ain't heard that from you. I ain't heard that from you. I ain't heard that from no NBA player. And so and by the way, all them years that you supposedly hated me, you voted for me to be the president of your union.
Yeah, I seen a lot of pictures of All-Star games and y'all laughing and joking. It didn't look like hate.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if that, now maybe you felt like that privately and I didn't know. But now that I do know, and by the way, if you didn't mean it that way, then publicly say it. Don't privately say it. Magic, we don't need a private conversation.
Mm-hmm.
This man did this on national television internationally. I have to answer this question, right? in every interview that I sit down and do. You asking me this question, right? So now I'm the one who's looking like, oh, why are you talking about Jordan? Why are you saying this?
Right.
When you to put that out there, and now you at home or on your golf course or doing whatever you do, and now I got to answer this BS question. So if you man enough, and you, if you meant it, leave it as it is. But if you didn't mean it, then come out and clean it up.
The same way it came out.
Same way it came out, with the same intensity.
You gotta respect that, though.
That's where I stand. That.
I mean, because if the shoe was on the foot, I know I've been disrespected a lot, but if somebody disrespected me on TV during the game, but also at the end of the game, they decided, okay, you know what, I remember I said that, let me clear this up before we get off air. I gotta respect that. I can't hold it, I can't be mad at him no more because he corrected himself.
Hey, you said Magic and I sat down and squash whatever we had going. Publicly. Magic Johnson apologized. He said, I'm sorry. If I hurt you, when I hurt you, I didn't mean that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I got to accept that. And we move on. But if you're going to let this linger out here in this basketball world, and you got everybody else talking, but you ain't saying nothing. Now, if you meant it,
stand on it.
Stand on it. But if you didn't mean it, clean it up.
That's something.
You mentioned, obviously it's no secret that you and Magic were best of friends at one point.
Yep.
And what did it mean to you guys to be able to sit down and clear that air for you?
It meant a lot, not only to me, but we didn't know, and I didn't know how much it would mean
to all of us,
to the world. I had no idea. Right. Because when you're going through that, you just thinking about yourself. Yeah. You're not thinking about really how it's affecting other people. And I just had this same thing happen with Karl Malone and I, right? And by the way, thank you, Kenyon. Love you, Saginaw Strong. But you don't realize what the other person is carrying, right? You feeling, yourself and your grief and your hurt.
Right.
But the other person who's carrying that guilt, when you have the opportunity and you can relieve them of that, not knowing that that's how much they carrying, right? That was a powerful moment, not only for he and I, but it was a powerful moment for the world, which we didn't know. So it's like 2 moments we've had that we didn't realize what we was really doing that ended up changing a lot of stuff. Like when he and I first hugged and kissed, right? You know what? They it's like I can't meet my brother and give him a handshake. Whenever I met family, it was always an embrace, right? When we did that in the 80s as 2 men, right? Black masculinity, and being called into question. You're not supposed to, you're supposed to have this, this toughness about you and all this stuff. Well, when we broke down that barrier, we didn't realize what we had really done. Now, when we saw each other today, first thing we did, we hugged each other.
I couldn't wait to hug you when I see you.
Yeah, and then we hugged for a minute because I wanted to feel you, right? But back then, that was so controversial, right? Now, us coming together, forgiving, compassion, love, friendship, right? It's another powerful moment. Not knowing that that's what we were doing.
Right.
So I'm glad that he and I got to share that.
I mean, you mentioned, and obviously this is going to come up too, you mentioned you got a chance to sit down with Karl at this last All-Star in Utah. How did that go?
Man, for years, man, I wanted to do something to Karl, man. I was
you mentioned some people might have, but Kmart told this story about how he was watching that game on TV when he was a youngster and got him back for you.
Yeah, and I'm saying thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you said thank you, but people might have not caught that.
But let me say why I said thank you, and then let me go further with that, because for years, that dude put a mark on me, man. And And for years, I was like, I'm gonna get my mark back. You know, you put a scar on me, and I'm gonna get my scar back. When I get my scar back, we even. But that, you know,
not my lick though.
Mhm,
My
a
scar.
scar,
No, I
yeah.
didn't get scar back.
A lick will heal.
No.
Not my
Scars for
lick
life.
back. I need my scar back.
Now we even, you know.
Straight up.
But and so fast forward, right? You know, I'm carrying this around for years. For years. Last Dance come out, and you know, the narrative was, you know, everybody hated Isaiah. You know, nobody wanted him around. Nobody wanted him to be a part of it, so forth. So that was what's being played. So now, on the background, I'm getting calls from everybody. I'm getting calls from the Chicago Bulls team, teammates, people in the Chicago Bulls front office. I'm getting calls from people who was on the Dream Team saying, "Hey, man, that ain't me. You know how I feel about you." Da da da.
Mm.
Okay, cool. Then I get a call from Carl, and I'm like, and he said, "Hey, man, I," and this was years ago. Say, "Hey, man, I just want to tell you, like, you know, I hear all this stuff about the Dream Team. You know how Carl talk. I'm a man. I'm a real man. I don't, you know, I ain't hiding behind nothing. You know, I didn't have nothing to do with that. You not making a team. As a matter of fact, you know, I'm speaking for Stockton and I. And he said this on camera. He said, if there was a secret meeting, me and Stockton wasn't a part of no secret meeting trying to keep you off the team. That wasn't us. So now, you know, my next question is, you know, so man, why you hit me like that? And this is what I have to respect. And Kenyon, I hope you can respect this too, brother, because and you know, and all my people in Chicago and in Detroit, everywhere, I hope y'all can respect this about Karl Malone. Because what he said was, hey, look, I meant to hit you. That's how we played. You come down the lane, you gonna get some physicality. So I meant to do it. He said, but I didn't mean to do that. And I apologize because I didn't mean to do that. Hey, I have to accept that. You know what I mean? Because it now if he would have been like, I'm a tough guy, you know, that's how we play, and yeah, I'm gonna laid you out, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, now he gets emotional and he start crying. And you know, when people start crying, now you crying, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
Contagious, yeah.
yeah, so
you never know what people dealing with, bro.
yeah, and so I was only looking at it from my point of view. I never knew the type of guilt that he was walking around carrying. And so by me saying, hey man, it's okay. I love you, brother. We good. Man,
That's
he
big.
said, you just took
Release.
the whole weight off my shoulder. Now, I never knew he was walking around with weight. I just thought he was walking around like, yeah, I'm a tough dude. Look what I did to you and somebody else I'm gonna do. But that ain't the way he was thinking. And when he said, yeah, I meant to hit you, but I didn't mean to do that. Now, that last part, I got to accept, right?
I
And
respect
that's,
that.
you know, that was real. So I respect that.